You're not weak or stuck. You just don't know. Today I went into work and I thought, today I'm going to have a productive day. Not because I want to work hard or anything like that. I'd much rather stay home and relax. But I just felt confident. I felt like, just another day and another dollar, as they say. I had been out of work for about 2 years. It's not something I really talk about too much. Those 2 years were very dark for me. And during those 2 years, I did a lot of contract work, side jobs, delivery boy, I was for a while. And I realized I needed something more consistent and reliable, you know, consistent pay. And so I decided to go for an interview at a job. I got hired relatively quickly, thankfully, especially in this job market. It's pretty hard sometimes. And I got a job and I got a full time job, 40 hours a week, benefits and everything. So I got pretty goddamn lucky, I will admit. Of course, it's not ideal. I'd much rather be doing something a lot better, a lot more fun, but it is what it is. And in the beginning, it was good. Everybody was chill, everybody was very friendly, everyone was very outgoing. And it went pretty fast. And I had a lot of fun. Genuinely, I had fun in the beginning. See, in the beginning, everything's new. You're motivated. You're excited. You want to prove yourself, and you want to start getting paid, right? You want to get that paycheck, and you want to learn as much as possible so it can get easy, quick, and they can not be on your ass. But then it happened. A routine started to form, and I started to get irritable, lazy, tired, frustrated, and bored. Above all else, bored. Because now this was it, kinda. This was it until whatever happens next, really, and whatever that could be, who knows? But I look back and I remember, maybe you guys can relate too, that see, when you're young and you're in the consistent 9 to 5 job market, and you're also getting fed a lot of this propaganda of, oh, make $10,000 a month and passive income, make money while you sleep, and all these rich financial gurus, just buy my course and you'll be just like me. When you're young, you don't understand. And your parents don't really understand either, because they're from a previous generation in which the internet was not a thing, or at least not a very thing that happened for them growing up. So they don't understand and they don't know what you're really watching. That's why there's such a disconnect between generations from now and before. And I hated my job when I was younger. I hated it so much. I started to slack to the point where I almost got fired. And then I went up and quit. And I quit very irrationally and very impulsively because I was very angry all the time and very tired and almost depressed. I had one day where I just drove out to a random parking lot and I must have sat there for several hours contemplating my life, and I wrote my resignation letter that day too. I was just so fed up with it. And once that routine started to come in again, now that I'm older, it started to kind of creep up on me again. And I missed the days where I had a little more time, I had a little more freedom, more independence, a little more privacy. I almost thought I was gonna crack. I said, I don't know if I can do this anymore. This is too much. But I pushed through. And after that phase rolled in, I'm back to it. And now I'm back to it is what it is. I'm fine. If anything, I'm better. Now, why did that feeling creep on me? And then I automatically was able to switch back to normal, unlike previously, where I felt that for basically years. Because this time I have a plan. When you're young, you don't know what the fuck you want to do. You don't know who you are. You don't know what you want to be. You don't know anything. You're still learning. I'm still learning now. I'm still very young. But then you think you know shit. You don't know nothing. Now I have a goal to shoot for. I have an obstacle to overcome, and now I know how to overcome it. It's all about execution. It's all about having a plan, a step-by-step plan. I didn't have any of that. I just knew I wanted to be financially independent. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Everybody wants to be fucking financially independent. What, you think you're the first one? That's what I have to say to my younger self. Like, how? Reasonably. Well, you're just going to be a YouTuber and start courses and just have people pay? Come on. And so I was so angry, irritated, because I thought I was lost like I was before during that phase where I hit that wall. And I had a goal, but I lost sight of it. But now I see it again. I went through that small phase and I'm back and better than ever. And now I'm more hungry because I rose from the ashes. Now, I might be a little exaggerating, but the point is, I grew from that setback. That minor setback, it was pretty minor now that I look back at it. But at the time, it felt like, man, I don't know if I could keep doing this. And I was still very new into the job. It's like, come on, man, grow some balls. So, and maybe you are in somewhat of a similar situation. If maybe not new into a job, maybe years into a job, or just starting a new job. Maybe you experience it sooner or much, much later or around the same time. So if you're struggling, just know from my experience, if you feel weak, stuck, tired, or lazy, or just hate the mundane 9 to 5, just know it's not really you yourself, because that was my problem. I looked back at myself years ago and I said, it's me. I'm not rich. I'm not successful. I'm not smart enough. I don't have the ideal body yet. I have nothing. I just attacked myself without trying to figure out, well, what is it that I truly want? Why do I want this body? Why do I want this money? Why do I want this freedom? Why do I want this independence? Why? And start breaking it down, and you realize it's not a hatred towards yourself, it's a lack of purpose. You, your energy, if your energy isn't towards anything, it will engulf itself and that will destroy your mind, body, and soul. If you direct your energy to a purpose, to a dream, to a mission, that's already the biggest obstacle to overcome, is finding it. Or maybe it's not a specific thing, but it's some area in which you know, like, it's over here somewhere, I gotta go here. And you follow that intuition, and then you find it, and then you start to create a step-by-step plan, and then and only then you will start taking actual steps towards your goal. And that right there is where you will actually feel like you're progressing in life. Because even before I got this job, I knew what I wanted and I had the steps, but it was only when I got the job and I started going to work every day that I started to feel like I was getting closer. And that's the mindset you have to bring. Every day, a little bit more and more, you're getting closer to your goal. 1%. 1% every day, you're getting closer and closer and closer to your goal. And that's a fact, especially if you know and you're being smart. Now, I understand people are in various different kinds of situations. physical, financial, relationship wise, mental. So it's not like, oh, guys, just stay consistent. I'm not that naive. But there is some truth in it, in which the 9 to 5 grind, in which has always been promoted by a lot of these self improvement guys, is always missing something underneath it. It's like, yeah, grind 9 to 5, no days off. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds all well and good, but if you don't have no direction in which all that 9 to 5 grind is going to build up towards, you're not going to do it. I don't care who you are, or you're going to do it and you're going to be fucking miserable. So, and eventually you're going to hit that wall. You're going to hit a wall, even when you're doing extremely well. Maybe even when you have your dream, you're going to hit a wall. It always happens. This is how life is. And that's normal. And once that wall gets hit, just remember the feeling, but don't let it overcome you. I almost did, and I was pretty scared. I admit I was scared, but I didn't let it overtake me. You are stronger than anything that can be thrown at you. And you can absolutely do this. You can. Like, you really, really can. Like, I just, I have that intuition feeling. And so many other people have done it. Why should you be the one who can't? What makes you the one that can't? Right? And there's so much more opportunity now than ever. Sure, there's a lot more competition, but it's because a lot of people see the opportunity. That's why they're at least willing to play the game. Forgot who said it, but it's like, don't hate the player, hate the game. And then he says, don't hate the game because you're in it. Play the game, learn the rules, master the rules, and then move on into it. Play the fucking game. And it brings me to a quote. It's a Stoicism quote. And it says, nothing happens to a man who is not fitted by nature to bear. I think I might have said this in one of my other videos, this exact same quote. It's one of my favorite quotes. And basically what it means, nothing in life can happen to you that life hasn't already made you ready for. You're a product of the universe. You're a product of nature. So all things in nature, you're fit for it. And I think it's such a badass line, if I'm going to be honest. And something I think about often. And I hope you think about it often too. So I hope this helps. And I hope you guys can relate to this in any way. If you guys have any experiences or stories or anything that you want to share down in the comments, please go ahead. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.